Welcome back. So in this lab we'll be implementing the Azure Load Balancer. So if you talk about Azure Load Balancer operates at layer 4 in the OSI model. So it's a single point of contact for the clients, and the load balancer distributes inbound flow that arrives at the load balancer front end to backend instance pools. So, and these flows are according to the configured load balancing rules and health probes. So this is the definition according to the docs. So, and now let's go ahead and jump into the video. So this is what we are going to create, load balancer, and these are the backend pools that we have. So we have to configure them accordingly. So coming to the previous videos, like just to give a glance, we have created the whole architecture using the JSON files, and then we have implemented the peering concept. So we have configured the hub and spoke network topology. So we have connected these two, and then we have tested the transitivity of virtual network peering. So we were able to connect to these two, and we were able to connect these two too. But when we tried to connect to these two, it was not connecting because they're not peer networked. So that is the reason then we have configured the routing in hub and spoke topology. So for that we have used these routing tables, and we have configured this as route. So because the traffic is going from this, we were able to connect to these two networks as well. So that is what we have done in the previous lab, and now we'll be implementing the Azure Load Balancer as we said before. So if I go back here, where is my cursor? Yeah, if I go back here, let's go to the load balancers. So search for load balancers, click that, and right now we don't have any load balancer, so let's add one. So let's create one load balancer. Coming to the resource group, we know it's RG1, and the name, let me copy from the docs. So this is the name for that, and East US is the region standard, and the type would be public. So that's done. Saying that it's done, let's go to the next configuration, which is the front-end IP. Here let's add the front-end IP configuration, and coming to the name, let's say it said me to ask me front-end IP. Well, there was no error, so I think that's good to go. And it's done. IP4, and coming to public IP, I don't have any, so I need to create a new one. So click, and let me add the name of that public. So if I click the name here, it's done, and I'll just leave everything as default and just click OK. So a new public IP has been created for this as a front-end IP, and finally review it and create it, add it. So it's done, and the next thing, you can directly go and review and create it. So I'm following the docs, and once it is done, we'll be going back to the resources. So as you can see, there is a validation passed because there was no policy that is restricting this. So that is the reason the validation has been passed. For example, if there is a policy which has been implemented, then for sure we'll be getting an error. So that was too fast. If you go back to the load balancer, and if you go back to the backend pools under settings, so yeah, backend pools, here we have to add. So as we said before, the backend pools are 0 and 1 VM, so we have to add them. So you can see the connection, right, for this load balancer, it's been connected here. So we have to establish that connection that we are doing now. So coming to the backend pool name, let me add that name here, and coming to the virtual network, that would be 01, because it is in that particular network. So yeah, and coming to IP, it's 4, and the next one, the virtual machine, there is none, so let's add it. So you can see we have two virtual machines here, so let's click them too, because these two were associated with that as from this architecture. And once you add them, the next thing is you have to go to the settings. Let's add them first, and once it is done, we have to go to the settings and go with the health probes. Okay, it's validating. Well, there should be no issue because it's not restricted. So yeah, meanwhile let's try to go to that and add the health probes. So where is the load balancer here? Okay, let's see load balancer apply, and here under settings you can see there is a health probe. So health probes, so right now we don't have any health probes, so let's add that. And coming to the name, so it's health probe 1. So back TCP 85.2, I think that should be fine, and we can add it. Anyway, let's check. Yeah, even this is done, the deployment has been successful. Let's add these two. So it's deploying process, and even the backend pools are successfully completed, and so the health probes. So now let's go to the settings, and we have to use load balancing rules. So load balancing rules, click that, and here let's add, and coming to the name, A2P this one, error, go back, IPv4, and from here the front-end IP that we have created before, click that. So the backend pools, so it will be this one. Once you select it, the protocol would be TCP and the port would be 80, and the backend port will be 82. And coming to the health probe that we have created, okay, it's not done, it's done. So it's not showing here. Okay, let me go back and let me refresh this. Let me refresh everything as well. So let me add now. So let me directly check whether we have health probe. There you go. Now we can see. So let's proceed with the same steps that we have done before. IPv4 and front-end IP, and the backend pools done, TCP. The front port would be 80, and so the backend port, the health probes, right, we can see it, and the session persistent is none. Then TCP reset, this is done. Okay, it's common, floating IP disabled. So I guess everything should be fine, and you can just add it. So we have added the load balancer rule. Now once it is done, we have to go to the front-end IP. So it has been successfully created, and if I go back to front-end IP, so we can note here there is a public IP. So copy that, and so if you go back here and if you click that IP, you can see it's working properly. So it's from VM1. So let's see, it's VM1. So we have VM1 and VM0 as a backend pools. Let's try to give some load. So let's okay, it's there. Let's try to go to incognito mode and paste the same. Oh shit. Let me copy that and let me paste. Now you can see we have VM0, so it's working properly. So we have to refresh few times just to see whether it's, so however we were able to see VM0 and VM1 accordingly. So based on the load, it has been transferred. So yeah, I hope you guys have understood the concept of implementing the Azure Load Balancer. If you have liked the video, please click the like below, and if you want to subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel. And if you have any doubts, please do in the comment section, and please share the video. Thank you.